Chapter 191 Florida man sued dead pro-war rioters for raiding his shopping mall and got shot to death by his employees. Log in to get LK and view more chapters. Chapter 191 Florida man sued dead pro-war rioters for raiding his shopping mall and got shot to death by his employees. Oh dear, they have done it, Munya. Who's going to help them, Munya? On the Mystic Realm portal platform, the three statues laughed at the invaders. They looked at each other. The black-winged angel shrugged. Rock? Paper? Scissors? The Cathal disagreed. That's not fair, Munya. I can only do tentacles. Pick another method. Munya. The Fenrir also panted and stuck out his tongue, pretending ignorance. You want my paws, Woof? As they didn't feel the necessity of participating in this fight, the trio pushed the responsibility to each other. However, as they had the same mind, they couldn't come to an agreement. The angel face-bombed. He then glanced at his three concubines, including the new member, Chong Chong, who lost her soul and was converted into a stone golem, still sat on the angel's lap. Her apathetic gaze stared into the distance. Meow Meow patted the girl's head. Then he injected a fragment of her soul back. Chong Chong's body jolted as if she was electrocuted. A second later, she looked around and found her new master. Instead of panicking or making a fuss, she nodded at Meow Meow. She lost all her previous memory. The only instinct of Chong Chong was to follow this angel's instructions. After converting Chong Chong into a complete slave, Meow Meow gave her the first order. New order for you. You will serve Lord Florida Man as your new master, as he is also my master. For now, I want you to take the elevator to the first floor. When you arrive, you will pretend to be a fountain statue at the entrance of the shopping mall. If intruders manage to break in from the front, it will be your duty to stop them. Got it? Chong Chong nodded. She got down from the angel's lap and shrank her physique. With determination, she entered the elevator and got down to the first floor. Upon Chong Baidu's signal, the mutant army charged toward the nightmares and thunder unicorns. None of them was afraid of the monsters. Taxi transformed into a human with a unicorn horn. The silver horn glowed and fired a yellow thunderbolt at the incoming quasi-immortal mutant. The lightning bolt hit the demonic cultivator, but he came out unharmed. The mutant roared and manifested his flame axe. He swung down, aiming at Taxi's head. Clink! Taxi parried the strike with his horn. While he was at it, he pulled out his rifle and pointed at the mutant's face. Smash! Unlike the V. Dullahan, Taxi had been through countless battles in the Mystic Realm. He knew when he should unleash an all-out attack to finish off a strong enemy. He injected the sacred wood bullet into the chamber with yellow lightning energy. Then he pulled the trigger. Boom! The rifle and sacred wood bullet amplified the energy and unleashed an orange laser beam. Getting shot in the face, the quasi-immortal's head and upper shoulders melted. His soul was pulverized without a chance to recover. Just like that, Taxi claimed the first kill. He then exhaled a long fume of white smoke from his mouth. Smash! Get them, boys! Learning from their pack leader, the other thunder unicorns transformed into naked humans. As they had prepared freshly made rifles from the gunsmith workshop, everybody armed themselves and aimed at the sky. Boom! 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 49 orange beams ascended to the sky and devoured unlucky mutants in their paths. The proud quasi-immortal mutants fell one after another. However, the majority of them dodged the attack with ease. After one volley, they instantly downed 6 quasi-immortal mutants and 600 soldiers. The unicorns reloaded their guns and prepared to shoot again. But then, they discovered the problem with their rifles. The gun muzzles were bright red. Smash! Someone go fetch new boomsticks. We can't use these again. The unicorns were smart. They realized that the rifles got overheated after they forcefully injected their yellow lightning energy into the gun chambers. 20 of them kicked the ground and chose to fight in close combat while the rest stayed on the ground, shooting lightning bolts at their enemies instead. One of Taxi's comrades rushed into the store. He ignored the panicking disciples and went to the gunsmith. Smash! I'll borrow these. The guy grabbed as many guns as he could and rushed out to supply his friends. The two mannequins in the workshop only glanced at the naked unicorn man, after which they shook their heads and continued crafting more rifles and bullets. In the sky, Ricardo and 49 Nightmares didn't bother using Leo's guns. They all transformed into muscular bronze men with black unicorn horns on their foreheads. Strangely, after they had transformed, they all wore a red bandana and tight bikini underwear. Seeing the charging army, Ricardo turned around and made a pose. The others also did the same as if they choreographed the moves. Then they sexily turned back and smiled at the invaders. Again, the entire team was in sync, busting a move in unison. The group of quasi-immortal mutants and soldiers had goosebumps. Because of the weird vibe and air of these bronze unicorn men, their movements slowed down by a beat. At that moment, the mannequins on the shopping mall's rooftop struck. They loaded their guns with spirit stones and fired small laser beams at the soldiers behind the quasi-immortals. All recycling center's mannequins stared at their enemies with glowing bloody lenses. Their joints crackled while they reloaded new spirit stone bullets, which were freshly minted from the recycling machine. Because their residual chi was 100 times thicker than standard spirit stones, these new bullets were slightly better than the regular sacred wood bullets from the gunsmith. Aha! Because the attack was not as flashy as the massive laser, it caught the backline soldiers off guard. Every shot always hit a person. A soul transformation mutant's physique was as sturdy as a quasi-immortal cultivator. Although they were shot, none of them died on the spot. Instead, they circulated their elemental essence into their wounds to regenerate their flesh. Their usual techniques would have worked had Hua Jiashan or others used the same guns and bullets. However, the sharpshooters were mannequins of Leo, who were created from his system. Combined with the special spirit stones, the bullets were perfect catalysts for the system mannequins to borrow Leo's power. The wounds on the soul transformation mutants turned black. Instead of mending or recovering, they got infected. They thought they had the superior physique of a demon. They thought they had graduated from being immortal. However, the contagious flesh-mutating virus from the bullets broke the bubbles and taught them the harsh reality of this universe. The bullets of mannequins could mutate people the same way when they touched objects or living beings. No! Their bodies uncontrollably swelled and bloated. Some of their guts imploded and gushed out from their orifices. Moreover, their nascent souls couldn't be ejected from their fresh bodies. The mannequins leisurely fired more rounds. As they had a hive mind, none of them shot the same person twice. After launching 2 volleys, the enemy troops reached them. 200 soul transformation cultivators landed on the rooftop while 1,000 got behind the shopping mall building. As for the quasi-immortals, they got entangled in close combat against the unicorn men. The mannequins dispersed. They leaped in all directions while they shot more mutants in midair. One of them tackled a nearby mutant and put a bullet in the latter's head. Afterward, he showed the most disrespectful behavior by twerking close to the enemy's face during the mutation process. No one had the luxury time to scold the ill-mannered mannequin. Everybody chased after the gun robots in anger. Unfortunately, the mannequins didn't know how to fly. As they could only jump and leap, most of them got caught. The mutants pummeled them and attempted to break their bodies into pieces. The mannequins expressionlessly endured the assaults even though various chi skills and palms crushed their limbs and torso in half. Their bodies reddened. Then they exploded. Black flame emerged from the self-detonating mannequins and devoured the soul transformation cultivators on top of them. Several hundred demonic cultivators died on the spot. Smash! The destruction and the explosions distracted Taxi and Ricardo. Both horsemen bellowed in anger, thinking that they had just lost their comrades. But the next moment, the hidden feature of the system domain was activated. A portion of iron pine logs in the junkyard automatically moved and fell into the acidic liquid of the recycling center's pool. Instead of the pool melting the log into spirit stones, the wood turned into worker mannequins that had died earlier. Their red lens gleamed as all of them retained their memory. Their hive mind also learned from their mistakes and discovered new tactics that they could use. Crack crack. The newly respawned mannequins rushed back to where they had died and grabbed their guns. They resumed shooting at the invaders around the shopping mall, protecting Leo's headquarters. The surrounding mutants noticed their emergence. At first, everybody thought they were hidden soldiers from Leo's building. As they also learned from their comrades' mistakes, the mutants threw Dao avatar attacks from a long range, preventing their suicide bomb attack tactic. Several mannequins exploded into black flame upon destruction. But again, they quickly consumed logs from the junkyard and came back to life. One of the quasi-immoral mutants noticed the commotion. He also spotted how the acid pool produced new mannequins. Despite being in combat against a unicorn man, he ordered his subordinates. Destroy that pool and that machine. They are producing the golems. 200 soul transformation cultivators descended from the sky and hurled 5,000 fireballs at the structure. Rumble. Flame erupted, and the building was caught on fire. However, the pool and the recycling machine were still intact. Bang! Suddenly, A cat-eared mannequin walked out from the shopping mall, wearing the domain's black suit uniform. She also carried a dozen sets of black suits, and she rushed toward the recycling center. Unafraid of random attacks from above, she passed the suit to the newly respawned mannequins. Boom! One of the fireballs hit her back. Fortunately, the suit neutralized the damage to her body. Still, the impact staggered her forward. As soon as the clothing store mannequin stumbled, the male mannequins flinched. Their expression turned dark as if a hoodlum assaulted their girlfriend. Crackle. Despite being angry, they put on the new uniform. As if the clothing store mannequin knew about their weaknesses, she also made them gloves and cloth masks. After putting everything on, they became ninjas in a business suit. Everybody returned to the battlefield. The clothing store mannequin nodded in approval and fled to the shopping mall, avoiding the battle. However, several hundred eyes noticed her actions, and they followed after her. Instantly, the mutants found the back entrance of the shopping mall. Follow that damn golem. Kill everybody inside. The soul transformation mutants threw their attacks at the main building next. More explosions enveloped the shopping mall building. However, the glass windows and the walls were unaffected by their strikes. Boom! A black statue suddenly blasted out from the back door of the shopping mall. She then transformed back to her original size. Chong Chong, the new gargoyle statue, made her debut as Leo's shopping mall guardian. She looked around and opened her forearms. Then, she clenched her fists. Crack! A domain ability of Chong Chong was unleashed. 500 soul transformation soldiers above the recycling centers and a dozen men behind the shopping mall were squeezed by something invisible. Their bodies were crushed like pancakes. However, Chong Chong's ability wasn't omnipotent. Despite killing so much, she couldn't use it repeatedly. After releasing her hands, Chong Chong's arms cracked. She glanced at her cracking stone arms for a moment and concentrated on healing her new physique. While healing, one of the invaders recognized her. He screamed, "Lady Chong Chong? Why are they so noisy outside?" Gao Yen opened his eyes. He had eaten Leo's Floridian Dantian pill, and he hadn't fully digested the pill effects yet. However, his cultivation advanced to the soul formation realm, aka the 6th stage. He was one stage below the soul transformation realm. Although Gao Yen was not ready to come out of the seclusion, he paused his cultivation schedule and stepped out of his house. As soon as he came out, a quasi-immortal's headless corpse fell from the sky and landed in front of him, splashing blood on his face. Taxi also descended and stomped the dead body for good measure. Taxi then noticed Gao Yen. He smiled at the guy. "Smash! What's up, amigo? Did you just wake up?" Gao Yen wryly smiled. "What's happening here?" Taxi pointed to the sky. Gao Yen looked up. Oh! The nightmares were in combat against quasi-immortals in the sky while Taxi's unicorns battled another group on the ground. However, thousands of soul transformation mutants rained upon the main store's building. 100 of them rushed toward Gao Yen. One of them summoned his Titan Dao avatar and was about to punch Gao Yen. The teenager didn't bother looking at the Titan avatar. He pulled out a pistol from his belt and pulled the trigger, aiming at the real body of the giant without looking. Bang! Leo's pistol was more powerful than the mass-produced rifles. Even though Gao Yen only loaded sacred wood bullets in his magazine, it had more destructive power than the mannequin's version. The soul transformation mutant died instantly, body and soul. Bang 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 bang. As if Gao Yen's hands were possessed, he rapidly pulled the trigger and adjusted his aim after every shot. Within 1 second, he emptied the magazine. 14 more mutants fell from the sky. Gao Yen yawned, but his hands reloaded a new magazine in less than a second. He looked at Taxi while he fired 15 more shots at the sky. "Do I need to fight? I have to go back and cultivate some more." Taxi shrugged. "Smash! Can you help? We're under manpower here. I need more bullets. I have like 5 more mags. Maybe?" Click. After finishing that sentence, Gao Yen reloaded the second mag and emptied the chamber in the next second. In a flash, Gao Yen already killed 45 invaders without even looking. Taxi smirked at Gao Yen. "Smash! I'll tell my boy to fetch you some ammo." "Thanks." Taxi kicked the ground and tackled another quasi-immortal nearby. He and his colleague proceeded to stomp the poor guy to death. Gao Yen snickered and pulled out a lightsaber. He tossed it in front of him and controlled it with his chi. Boom! The activated lightsaber floated in mid-air, acting as Gao Yan's flying sword. He reloaded another mag and continued firing. "Wawa, I'm kinda sleepy. I want to go back to my dream world and train again. The Floridian Dantian pill was at work. Gao Yen already spent 100 years in his dream training in various firearms. It was a matter of time before he became immortal John Wick. Visit and read more novel to help us update chapter quickly. Thank you so much. Chapter 192. Netflix announced new Hangover movie would be based on true story of Florida man waking up to the aftermath of alien war. Chapter 192. Netflix announced new Hangover movie would be based on true story of Florida man waking up to the aftermath of alien war. The black-winged angel Meow Meow closed his eyes and observed the fight with his senses. Seeing how underperformed the mannequins were, he frowned. Why are the mannequins so weak, Munya? I thought they were stronger than trashy immortals, Munya, complained Mooniang. Meow Meow also had the same thoughts. But after taking a better look, he realized something. Our Lord is too far away from us. The mannequins exert their fullest potential. They are strongest when our master is around. But haven't master built us a pylon tower for us, Munya? Mooniang referred to the crystal tower with the spirit stone heart. It had been supplying this domain with abundant yin-yang qi. However, compared to Leo's presence, its energy supply was negligible. The angel deeply sighed. It's still not enough. The energy consumption of purgatory flame is too great. Think of a battery. When many electrical appliances are active at once, the battery will be rapidly drained. Also, Meow Meow opened his eyes and stood up. Then he walked toward the edge of the platform. Have you felt it? Feel what, Munya? The angel gazed toward the stars. His expression turned dark. The eyes that are watching us from above. The Fenrir and Cathalhu statues widened their eyes. Then they looked up. Then they noticed the anomaly. Although the night sky was full of stars, the three detected faint killing intent from far away directed at them. The Fenrir statue instantly recognized the stare. The pair of eyes came from someone from his race. The Fenrir statue bore fangs. He lowered his stance and prepared to shuttle to space. However, the Cathalhu statue jumped and body-pressed the wolf as if a professional wrestler delivering a finishing move. The wolf was stunned and dizzy. His eyes spun. The Cathalhu comically flipped the wolf statue over and pinned him. Then one of his tentacles counted the fall. 1, 2, 3. Ding ding ding. Munya. The Fenrir statue came back to his senses. He glared at the cat and barked. What are you doing, Woof? Our master aren't here, Munya. Until he's back. No big fight, Munya. The angel nodded in approval. He's right, doggy. We're running on a reserve battery right now. Look at my girl. Even though she got an upgrade from me, she can't use her full strength. While they chatted, a barrage of fireballs, fire lances, flame wheels, and fire hurricanes descended upon Kinag Chong. She endured the random attacks and came out with a slight crack in her chest. Noticing the damage to his subordinate, Meow Meow let out a long sigh. We're running low on energy. We have to assume that our master won't return anytime soon. Let's help them and finish this quickly. The angel vanished. He reappeared in the middle of Chong Baidu's army. The appearance of the giant statue surprised the soul transformation mutants. They shouted and summoned their Dao avatars. Meow Meow unsheathed a long katana, and a dark dome emerged, covering everybody within Leo's domain. He then swung it once and sheathed the katana. Whoosh! The dome of darkness vanished, revealing the result of the attack. Ha! 2,000 soul transformation mutants and 30 quasi-immortal elites were cleaved in half. They widened their eyes as their bodies split vertically. Moreover, their souls got stuck inside their dying physiques. In one attack, the angel statue cut down 25% of Chong Baidu's troops. The angel returned to the platform. He let out a long sigh and threw his butt on his throne. He then complained. I'm out of energy. You two are next. Okay, Munya. Woof. The two beast statues seemed hesitant as they didn't want to run out of energy. Still, for the sake of protecting Leo's place, they took action. Both wolf and cat jumped out of the mystic portal platform. Chong Baidu glanced at the battlefield while he parried Mark's strikes. The battle did not go well for his side. The horned men teamed up and isolated his quasi-immortal elites to a 3v1 or 2v1 combat. They also used long-ranged weapons which always erased 1 or 2 elite bodyguards per shot. It had been 10 minutes into the fight, but their number was reduced by half. As for the other party's casualty, only the wooden golems were destroyed. Still, every time they were destroyed, they self-exploded, killing a dozen soul transformation mutants at once. As for the property damage, it was hopeless. The shopping mall building remained intact while the recycling center only suffered from slight burn damage. At this rate, his forces would be wiped out. The humiliation of losing to a tiny force with less than 200 combatants angered him. Florida man. Mistaking Mark for Leo, Chang Baidu roared and used his trump card. He pulled out a black pill from his spatial ring and ate it. As soon as the pill entered his stomach, his skin turned black. His physique grew larger while all of his bodily hair fell. Mark backed away from Chang Baidu as he sensed something amiss. From his point of view, Chang Baidu gave an air of a demonic creature from another world. Two black horns grew from Chang Baidu's temples. His jaws extended forward like a savage beast. All his muscles bulged while his blood vessels expanded and lengthened. Two demonic wings emerged from his back. As for his legs, the bones and joints transformed, turning into massive goat legs. It took Chang Baidu only 2 seconds to transform from a 4-armed mutant into a 10-meter-tall 4-armed demon with a dog face. The consciousness of Chang Baidu faded, replaced with pure primal instinct. He howled and charged at Mark. Mark's main head left behind an afterimage and teleported 2 meters behind the demonic werewolf. His red lightning arm pierced through Chang Baidu's back and unleashed the red tribulation lightning upon him. Boom! An explosion occurred. However, it was Mark's arm that exploded. As for Chang Baidu, he was unharmed. The headless body carried Mark's bastard sword. He hacked down, aiming at Chang Baidu's neck. Clank! Instead of lopping off the demon's neck, Mark's precious artifact was broken in half. Moreover, the body flinched. Mark frowned as he suspected something. While clenching his lost arm, he fired a transparent thunderbolt at Chang Baidu. Bzzz. The electricity hit the demon, but it was Mark who took the damage. I see. An attack reflection domain ability. This is troublesome. Mark regenerated his lost arm and put his head back to his physical body. Then he flew toward the inverted flying island, heading to the Dullahan statue in the cemetery. The statue reacted. It moved and jumped out of the cemetery, flying toward its master. Then, the two extended their index finger and gently touched each other's fingertips. Fusion. The horseman statue merged with Mark. The flying island hummed and generated a gravity force, pulling everybody in the sky toward the cemetery. At the same time, Mark emerged as a black knight riding on an armored war horse. When the transformation finished, Mark didn't pursue Chang Baidu. He threw away his precious bastard sword and pulled out a long scythe from the saddle's weapon holder. He rotated it over his head to warm up. Rumble. The gravity force of the inverted island had a mind of its own. It directly pulled Chang Baidu toward the cemetery. Mark chased after the demonic werewolf. Even though he couldn't harm the demon, he could isolate the Earth celestial demon and protect his weaker allies on the battlefield. Eason still rested on a beach bed, observing the chaotic battlefield next to the white tree array. Although Eason seemed lazy, she worked harder than anybody. She had been maintaining a transparent dome, covering the farms and the white tree array. This domain made everything inside invisible. Moreover, it generated an illusion of a burning farmland, tricking the invaders. In addition to the farmland protection, she kept an eye on the unicorns and nightmares on the battlefield. Whenever they got critically injured by the mutants, she secretly dragged them inside the domain and transferred Samine essence to the beasts, healing them in the process. Then she kicked them out. While monitoring the battlefield, she glanced at Mark to see how the boy fared against an Earth immortal. She was slightly disappointed. She thought that Mark would defeat Chang Baidu easily, but the latter was abnormal. Which overlord is backing that guy? A demon? A Fenrir? Or both? Several names came to Eason's mind, such as Overlord Lucky, Overlord Hein, and Overlord Anyabok. Although she had never met them in the past, she was aware of their existence as her former mentor was one of the overlords as well. Because of the complications and the involvement of galactic entities, Eason figured that Mark might not be Chang Baidu's opponent this time. She stood up and stretched. Then, she rubbed her throat, sending voice transmission to another subordinate. Beatrice, how's it going? The Death Knightress Beatrice instantly replied, I'm observing the Magpie City at the moment, Your Majesty. What about the humans? No danger. Good. Come back and help your brother. He is fighting an incarnation of an overlord or an entity at the moment. He knows how to kill souls, but he doesn't know how to kill an apostle. Understood, Your Majesty. Heading back now. Eason let out a sigh of relief. She looked up, watching over Mark. But as Izan looked up, someone accidentally stepped into her domain again. The next thing she heard was a buzzing hum of a lightsaber cutting through a person's limb. Aha! A soul transformation mutant collapsed on his butt after losing 2 of his arms to Gao Yan. The latter leisurely walked toward his opponent while commanding his flying lightsaber to deflect a fireball from above. He pointed his gun's muzzle at the mutant's head and pulled the trigger. Bang! Another mutant went down. Gao Yan turned around and walked out of the invisible domain as if he didn't sense the changes. When he left, Taxi rushed to Gao Yan's side and supplied him with a barrel of unorganized 9mm bullets. Smash! There you go, boy. Have fun smashing. Gao Yan nodded at Taxi. Many thanks, Senior. Although Gao Yan got more ammo, he still needed to put them in empty magazines first. Without looking at the barrel of ammunition, Gao Yan flickered 7 empty magazines over the barrel. Using only his chi, he commanded the ammo to fill the magazines. In 10 seconds, 105 bullets were ready to use. He took the mags and started blasting holes while he completely left the domain. Izan looked at Gao Yan and noticed Thora, who followed Gao Yan around as usual. She turned toward her and deeply bowed. Then she awkwardly chased after her boyfriend. Looking at Gao Yan, Izan felt like she had seen him somewhere before, but she couldn't remember. Where have I seen that guy? I kinda remember someone with a similar fighting style, but I can't remember. Izan tilted her head and fell into deep thought for a long time. Beatrice returned to the domain an hour later. However, by the time she arrived, the fight was almost over. The Cathalhu statue and Fenrir statue briefly joined the battlefield and killed 3,000 soul transformation cultivators instantly. Then they left. As for the quasi-immortals, Taxi, Ricardo, Chong, and 98 Pony Legion crushed them with Izan's support. The remaining soul transformation mutants were either devoured by random bullets from Taxi's subordinates or mannequin musketeers. As for Gao Yan, he loitered in front of his house and shopping mall, picking off stray mutants in the area. The remaining fight was located on the inverted island above Leo's domain. On the cemetery island, a demonic werewolf continued chasing after Mark in his night appearance. Beatrice flew to the cemetery and landed behind the demonic wolf. She pulled out a 1.5-meter long blade from her chest. The purple blade emitted a black aura of death and extreme essence, which no living being could use. It was the aura of death itself. Beatrice slowly took off her blindfold. She calmly opened her eyelids, revealing her pitch-black eyeballs. As soon as Beatrice revealed her eyes, the demon werewolf flinched as if he regained sanity. Chong Baidu turned around to see the Grim Reaper. Shing! A purple horizontal light flashed and vanished. Beatrice swung her blade the same way Meow Meow did, minus the domain of darkness. Then, the purple blade receded into her chest. Chong Baidu didn't feel anything, but a second later, his body collapsed on the ground lifelessly. Transparent purple particles flew out from his physique as if his soul had disintegrated. His attack reflection ability was ineffective against Beatrice's mysterious blade. Only Izan, Ivy, and Mark were aware of the true terror of this death knight. Mark, who was still in his knight armor, lowered his scythe. He didn't do anything fancy other than running around on his war horse, dodging Kinag Baidu's random attacks. He canceled his transformation and smiled at his sister. Sister B, you're back. Beatrice silently nodded. She revealed a faint smile for a moment before she resumed her usual poker face. She put back her blindfold clothes and closed her eyes. You lack training. Mark slouched his shoulders. But I fought hard. You lack training. Mark wanted to cry, but he had no tears. He deactivated his domain ability, and the inverted cemetery island vanished. Sounds of combat ceased, and the night regained its tranquility. No cheer or celebration was heard from the winner's side, even though they just defeated an overwhelming army of an immortal. Morning. Whoosh. Leo finally returned to the bedroom of his battle bus. He deeply inhaled and treasured the stale air of the master bedroom. As he missed his domain and people, he stepped out of the bus to tell everybody that the daddy was home. As soon as Leo got out of the parking lot building, he found a trace of carnage last night. He also found Izan and her 2 minions, dragging corpses of weird humanoid creatures toward the junkyard. What the hell happened here? Visit and read more novel to help us update chapter quickly. Thank you so much. Chapter 193. Woman called cops on Florida man for allegedly sexual harassed her, made her fall in love with him, then friend-zoned her. No baby has been conceived. Log in to get LK and view more chapters. Chapter 193. Woman called cops on Florida man for allegedly sexual harassed her. Made her fall in love with him, then friend-zoned her. No baby has been conceived. Leo inspected the exterior of his buildings. Scars of burn and sword scratches remained visible on the shopping mall's walls, apartments, and the parking lot. Although they posed no threat to the structure's stability, they ruined the aesthetic and the beauty of these modern buildings. Gazing at these buildings reminded Leo of when he just purchased a brand new car. But some douchebag door dinged him, leaving behind small scratches on the mint car. Who did this? Leo bellowed and stomped into the shopping mall to check the interior and his workers. Upon entering the main store's building, Leo found a stone fountain. His legs froze as he didn't remember building it here. Lord Florida man. He's back. We're safe. Leo pursed his lips. He looked around and found some familiar faces among the crowd. Wu Bai! Shouted Leo. Wu Bai sprinted with all his might. He slid with his knees bent forward and kowtowed at the same time. As if he had calculated his strength, the sliding stopped when he arrived in front of Leo. As a result, the alchemist elder invented the sliding kowtow for the first time. Your loyal servant is here, my lord. Explain the situation? Of course, my lord. Wu Bai stood up and rubbed his hands. He then recounted the last night's incident. At the junkyard, the war veterans, namely the mannequin troopers, sat and rested near the recycling pool. The cracks and damage of their bodies rapidly healed. As for the domain uniforms they wore, they still emitted white smoke as everybody went through a series of bombardments. The gentle clothing store mannequin carried warm towels toward the group. She distributed the towels to the fighters. The boys gazed at her and blushed. All mannequins kept staring at their goddess while she walked around and checked the conditions of her colleagues. Meanwhile, non-combatants came out and cleaned the battlefield. Warehouse and granary mannequins got busy transferring, sorting, and filtering useful goods from useless ones. Useless junk such as regular grain pills, food, used clothes, and common weaponry were thrown into the pool. As for the rest, namely spirit stones, essence stones, rare plants, fruits, meat, books, and artifacts, the mannequins arranged them in the center of the junkyard, waiting for Leo's inspection. That was not all. As there were so many enemies, corpses and blood were harvested and collected in one of the granaries. Eason took charge of this arrangement and relocated farmland crops and other food from the first granary to the second building. As for the first storeroom, she stored buckets of fresh blood and whole corpses. As for the mutilated and mutated ones, she collected them in spatial rings and put them in the first granary. Mark and Beatrice were busy running around and fetching dead bodies outside of Leo's domain. They also watched over the young workers who came out to help with the cleanup. Leo came out of the shopping mall's back door and walked toward the junkyard. Wu Bai trailed behind his master. When Leo found the piles of new goodies, his foul mood vanished. A bright smile returned to his face. So much trash to recycle. Excellent. Wu Bai and young workers from Life Sword sect sweated profusely while they gazed at the mountains of precious artifacts, spirit stones, and essence stones. They silently cursed Leo in their mind that he treated these treasures as junk. My lord, those are spirit stones, essence stones, and martial art books. We should at least arrange them properly. Leo smirked. He walked toward the mountain of spirit stones and spat on it several times, making sure that every marble was baptism by his almighty blessings. In the blink of an eye, all trivial spirit stones evolved into essence stones with the highest quality. Leo laughed. Now, these balls are no longer trash. Mannequins, my boy. Stash these in one of the warehouses. Store them in some spatial rings or something. We'll use these to pay our slaves next month. Wu Bai and the human bystanders coughed blood. Although some of them had seen Leo's feat and abilities once, their hearts and minds couldn't comprehend or adapt to the new reality and logic in this place. Their wages were a bunch of saliva-soaked spirit stones? That was the common question in their minds. Leo moved to the pile of essence stones next. Instead of spitting on them, he stored everything in his spatial rings. These resources would be useful for the soulstone crafting project in the future. Afterward, Leo shifted his attention to the artifacts. Giant axes, blade wheels, swords, and spears were common weapons that the Gore tribe used in the previous battle. Every piece of weapon was made from a special red ore, which Leo had never seen before. Looking at the crimson weapons, Leo scoffed. Trash. Effed. Again, Wu Bai and the young men coughed blood. Their kidneys clenched so hard that their bloody kidney stones gushed out from their pee hole. The pain was unbearable. Every man closed their legs and covered their groins while they shed tears of agony. While Liu inspected the loot, Hua Jiashan, Han Hao, Han Meng, Tiger Swordsman, Sun Wan, and Dongfang Mei rushed out of the shopping mall to greet him. Everybody just recovered from the previous injuries, and they were happy to see their strongest backer again in one piece. But then, Liu approached the mountain of skill books, martial art manuals, and scrolls containing various cultivation methods. He flipped through the content and uttered in a crispy voice, "Trash!" A line of blood leaked out from the corners of everybody's mouths, even though they had bright expressions on their faces. Their livers churned as if Hajime Ippo delivered them a full-blown liver punch to the guts. Hua Jiashan silently approached Liu. Without saying anything, he stored all books and scrolls in his spatial ring. Then, he calmly brought them to the library building, which he recently built next to Wu Bai's workshop. Han Hao learned from an example. With dull eyes, he gathered all the artifacts in his spatial ring. He then gazed at Liu. "Lord Florida Man, I would like to request permission to build a weapon pavilion for our domain." Liu didn't bother looking at Han Hao. "Suit yourself. I'll integrate the contribution system of the Life Sword sect to the new pavilion." Han Meng, Tiger Swordsman, Sun Wan, and Dongfang Mei's eyes gleamed. They bowed in unison. "We will also help." Liu waved his hand and shooed them away. The group widely grinned and flew toward the northeast zone of Liu's domain to construct their new weapon pavilion. The weapons and books were all taken away, leaving behind random pills and miscellaneous objects. Liu turned around and glanced at Wu Bai. The latter looked back and forth between Liu and the mountain of pill containers, full of unidentified pills. It was not hard to guess Wu Bai's intention. Liu snorted. "A man's trash is another man's treasure. I don't plan to experiment or study random junk I picked up from corpses. Do whatever you want with those, but I want you to report to me the recipes and the effects of those pills." Wu Bai was moved to tears. He kowtowed so hard his butt pointed to the sky. "Thank you, my lord. Praise Lord Florida Man. Praise the Florida God." Wu Bai gathered everything and waltzed to his workshop in glee. Looking at the obnoxious butt kisser, Liu shook his head. He turned his attention to the other important trash that he could use. They were the corpses of mutants. While Liu admired the mountain of four-armed men, Izan sneaked behind Liu's back. She injected every ounce of her chi into her fangs and leaped at Liu's nape. As if Liu had an eye on his back, he turned around and grabbed Izan's face. His big palm pressed her nose. "Unhand me, you ingrate!" Izan flailed her arms, throwing a tantrum. Liu gave her a meaningful look and glanced at the dead body. Guessing that Izan might have worked hard to defend his domain, he released her and patted her head instead. "Thanks." "Humph." Izan snorted. "My subordinates and I worked hard. I want compensation." "What do you need?" "I want your blood." "Sure." "Huh." Izan was taken aback as she expected a different reaction. She only messed around with Liu for a little revenge for all the bullying. Because of the sudden gentleness and consideration, she blushed, thinking that Liu cared for her. Betraying her expectation, Liu bit the tip of his tongue and shoved it in her mouth. Then he smirked. "Lick it good, brat." Izan's face reddened to the ears from embarrassment and anger. She then bit his finger, but her teeth couldn't even put a dent in his skin or nail. "You're bullying me again?" "No, I'm rewarding you. Also, your tongue is very soft." Realizing that Liu teased her, Izan spat Liu's finger out. However, her face and ears were still as red as tomatoes. Why, you will pay for this humiliation." Liu smirked and teased her again. "I'll pay you with my body anytime." Izan flinched. Her mind wandered elsewhere as she took Liu's words seriously. Her mind wandered and imagined impossible scenarios. Seeing Izan's reaction, Liu laughed and disillusioned her. "I mean, I'll pay you with my blood. What were you thinking?" White smoke came out from Izan's crimson ears and face. She covered her eyes with her hands and sprinted away in embarrassment and shame. Looking at the flustered elf, Liu snickered. Teasing this spoiled girl reminded him of the good times he had with his close friends on Earth. Unfortunately, after coming to this world, he couldn't find anybody who he could consider as a friend. So far, only customers and subordinates were around him. A bold and rebellious girl came at the right time. She was strong enough to overcome his immortal cancer cells, and she treated him as her equal. Thus, he couldn't help but prank or tease her every time they were together. After Izan had left, Liu turned his attention to the main course. He rubbed his hands. So many in fluid and pill ingredients. I'm rich. He giggled like a hyena. Then, he proceeded to collect corpses to his spatial rings. Stuffing 1,000 whole corpses into a storage ring was easy. However, the process of adding them all into spatial rings was tedious. As spatial rings were programmed to recognize a dead body as a unique object, the ring owner had to manually add the corpse into a ring by using their chi, as storage rings automatically rejected living beings. Shoving dead bodies into a storage ring at once always resulted in rejection. Leo sat there, dragging one corpse after another into a ring. The first 100 bodies were easy as Leo was enthusiastic. However, after repeating the process 2,000 times, he was bored. I should have delegated someone to do this. Why am I doing this? He stopped working and rechecked the remaining dead bodies in the junkyard. The mutants with gunshot wounds were gone. The rest were corpses with missing body parts. A few were burnt to a crisp. As Leo inspected the remaining corpses, something caught his eye. One of the dead bodies was a 10-meter-tall werewolf. Leo had a history with the Fenrir race. He checked the body up close. Suddenly, Leo received a system notification message. Ding! Detecting Earth Fate Crystal. Visit and read more novel to help us update chapter quickly. Thank you so much. Chapter 194. Florida man claimed innocence after his worshippers declared a racial war against elves under his name. He said during interview, "This casual racist will attempt the ranked mode if necessary." Chapter 194. Florida man claimed innocence after his worshippers declared a racial war against elves under his name. He said during interview, "This casual racist will attempt the ranked mode if necessary." Fate Crystal Tutorial. Fate crystals are profound artifacts that created the universe. By collecting at least 7 fate crystals of the same quality, the collector can gain new strength, depending on the crystal's quality. Earth fate crystals are useless to you. However, it will be nice to collect them for future usage. Maybe someone around you can find them useful? Be warned, you are not the only one who searches for these crystals. There will be competitors, and they are not your run-in-a-mill pushovers. Primary objectives. 1. Collect 7 Earth Fate Crystals, 2/7. 2. Assemble 7 Earth Fate Crystals, 0 to 1. Secondary objectives. 1. Kill 7 Immortals, 2 out of 7. 2. Upgrade Humble General Store to Shopping Mall, 1 first. Primary mission rewards. Gnosis of Earth Fate, True Earth Fate Crystal, Ring of Entity Upgrade feature. Secondary mission rewards. 7 lucky draws, 777 free tickets. So far, Leo obtained 2 Fate Crystals. One from Yen Xiang's secret treasury and one from Aku, the orc. He also killed a nameless immortal at Cauliflower City and Grorik in the Fate Arena. Suddenly, the system detected a Fate Crystal from this giant mutant corpse. Leo was delighted. Lucky me. I'll take it. Leo reached out to grab the giant mutant, planning to dissect it. Suddenly, Chong Baidu's corpse snapped open his eyes. He stared at Leo. Leo looked back at the giant wolf-head forearm giant. He frowned for a moment before he gently grabbed the latter's nape with his right hand. His left hand firmly grasped Chong Baidu's shoulder. "Oh, you surprise me. This ain't mortuary assistant. We don't welcome ghosts here." Without confirming Chong Baidu's life and death, Leo yanked the head. SWUA. With a forceful pull, Leo ripped Chong Baidu's head and shoulders apart. Dead bodies are best dead. No hidden survivor here. Leo flipped Chong Baidu's head and grabbed his demon horn. He pulled it up to see the giant's dog head. To Leo's surprise, the head seemed alive. The dog head muttered, "I remember you. You were at Fate Stadium." Leo raised his eyebrows. He was sure that Chong Baidu was dead. However, something was not right about this dead body. Moreover, only people who had been at the Fate Stadium should know him. This guy's testimony revealed that he was not Chong Baidu. "You mess with the wrong overlord, Florida man. Your death is warranted." The head threatened Leo. "Who are you? You don't need to know. You and your people will live in misery forever, waiting for your doom." Leo hated people who pretended to be mysterious. He recounted the deeds he had done at the stadium and came up with a guess. "You're the boss of those stupid mutts, I assume. I see that this guy has a puppy face." Being insulted, the head of Chong Baidu became savage. His brows wrinkled while he bored his fangs. "You're courting death and you are... I've confirmed your planet. 1,000,000 deities will descend upon your realm and destroy everything. We'll feast upon your children. Your women will become sow slaves, and we will enslave you for the rest of eternity. You will live to see your loved ones being treated as public toilet. You and you Earth will smash. Leo heard enough. He squeezed his hand and crushed the giant head's skull. Chong Baidu's brain imploded. After exploding the severed head, a shining grain emerged from Chong Dongbai's brain. It floated freely for a few seconds before it vanished into Leo's alien ring. Ding! You have obtained Earth Fate Crystal. Primary objectives. 1. Collect 7 Earth Fate Crystals, 3/7. 2. Assemble 7 Earth Fate Crystals, 0 to 1. For more to go, Leo almost needed to work a little harder. However, the system notification messages hadn't ended yet. New messages followed, warning Leo of new major conflicts. Player Overlord Pochi of Fenrir Tribe has marked you as his sworn enemy. Player Overlord Milo of Fenrir Tribe has marked you as his sworn enemy. Player Overlord Max of Fenrir Tribe has marked you as his sworn enemy. The Fenrir Tribe has declared the extinction war against you. Every 3 months, 100 representatives of your forces and 100 representatives from the Fenrir Tribe's forces will be sent to a battlefield in Fate Stadium. You must prepare 100 representatives for the seasonal war game. Every year, 10,000 fighters from your forces and 10,000 fighters from the Fenrir Tribe's forces will be randomly chosen and sent to a battlefield in Fate Stadium for the annual war game. Every 10 years, 1 million fighters from your forces and the Fenrir Tribe's forces will be randomly chosen and sent to a battlefield in Fate Stadium for the 10-year war game. Every 100 years, you and your sworn enemies will be forced to fight in a death duel. Until one side remains alive, no one is allowed to leave the battlefield. Warning: Extinction War cannot be stopped. You and your sworn enemies cannot be reconciled. Until either you or all your sworn enemies die, the system will enforce the war games. Warning: Your sworn enemies can invade your planet and bypass the mortal world's restrictions. Vice versa, you can invade your sworn enemies' domains if you meet the prerequisite conditions. Warning: Your system buildings will receive overall attribute debuffs when your sworn enemies or their forces enter your world. Vice versa, their systems buildings will be inflicted with debuffs if you or your subordinates invade their worlds. The new event quest has been generated. War of Extinction, Overlord Pochi, Overlord Max, Overlord Milo vs. Florida Man. Backgrounds: 3 Fenrir overlords have declared war against you because of the recent conflicts. Even though they have lived longer than you and acquired system before you did, they still abuse their authority and attempt to remove you from the player list. Difficulty evaluation: You lack manpower, and your system hasn't been upgraded to show its full potential yet. Your domain is vulnerable to surprise attacks and rapid invasions. Your battle prowess is your only advantage. As for the rest, the Fenrir Tribe is superior to you in every way. The key to winning this war is you and how you can catch up to the Fenrir Tribe's technologies, manpower, territory, and army quality. Victory condition: Kill Overlord Pochi, Overlord Max, and Overlord Milo. Defeat condition: You died. Side objectives: Complete any of these objectives to earn big rewards. 1. Destroy or capture at least 3 planets of your sworn enemies. 0 out of 10. 2. Destroy or capture at least 10 mystic realms of your sworn enemies. 0 out of 10. 3. Destroy or capture one of your sworn enemies' home planet. 0 to 1. 4. Win 10 seasonal war games. 0 out of 10. 5. Win 3 annual war games. 0/3. 6. Win 1 10-year war game. 0 to 1. 7. Kill a relative of your sworn enemies. 0 to 1. Rewards: 1. You are guaranteed universal draw. The changes shocked Leo. His expression turned dark when he read the details about the war. This complicated things. He already had a hard time dealing with the PvP feature. Adding this to the picture, Leo's life difficulty changed from super easy mode to slightly easy mode. Invading me? Ah, sure. This casual racist will try the ranked mode if necessary. Oh wait, is the lifespan stealing feature still there? Ding. Please note, the newbie protection period is over. Please gather lifespan by using the store features or do it your old way. That was enough to confirm that Leo could no longer abuse his store domain system anymore. He let out a long sigh. Nothing I can do. Back to drugs, I guess. Well, I have plenty of materials. Also, how are my subquests? Leo rechecked the other quests that he needed to complete. He opened the quest menu. Entity Fate Crystal Quest, phrase 1 of 13. Mission objectives. Complete 10 tasks to complete this phrase. Phrase completion rewards, 100,000 years of lifespan, 1 guaranteed SR lucky draw building, and increase subbuilding's max level to 12. Phrase 1 tasks, 8/10 completed. Evolve humble general store into a shopping mall. Done. Move any building into the main store's building. Done. Set up a new store in the main store's building. Done. Complete a Mystic Realm expedition once. Done. Upgrade any building to level 10. Done. Harvest at least 10,000 of any crops from basic farmlands. Done. Concoct at least 10,000 pills by using Alchemy Workshop. 7,730/10,000. Recycle at least 10,000 items by using the Recycling Center. Done. Summon at least 10 automatons to work in your domain. Done. Sold at least 1,000 products in your store. Done. *4 each completed task, you will receive 1 lucky draw, building, and 1 lucky draw, automaton. Leo only needed to wait 1 day to get the last quest done. He also gathered 9 lucky draws for buildings and 9 lucky draws for automatons. If he could get 1 more, he could do the 10+1 draw and get something new for his domain. As there was nothing he could do, Leo looked around to inspect the property damage. He wondered if any building needed to be repaired. Leo toured his domain. After walking around the farms and apartments, he found nothing unusual, except a missing monster. He could not find Cat anywhere. Usually, the glutton cat wannabe would have clung toward him and tasted his skin whenever she had a chance. Where's that damn Nom Nom plant? Frozen Fire City. Nom Nom meow love. Cat chewed a dead mutant, who belonged to the base guard squad that Chong Baidu had left behind. While eating, she followed Ivy, using her as a shield. Ivy didn't mind it. She already slaughtered all remaining 4-armed mutants in this city, and she was on her way to Easen's former mansion. Upon reaching the underground mansion, Ivy entered the building and searched for the remaining armor and weapons. She then found 100 pieces of random armor parts, sitting and collecting dust in the treasury room. Ivy smiled as she understood the true value of these dusty scraps. She collected them in her spatial rings and emptied the room. I guess Her Majesty didn't have enough time to get that. After the room was emptied, Ivy found a hidden door cover. She opened it and found stairs toward their secret room. Ivy took this opportunity to take off her blindfold. She opened her eyelids and revealed her eye sockets, devoid of physical eyes. In the blank eye sockets, 2 purple fireballs were ignited. Her young and pretty face reverted into a human skull. The smooth, flawless skin underneath her robes disappeared as if they were an illusion. Upon reaching the bottom of the stairs, Ivy in her skeleton form gazed at a black grassland cemetery. At the ceiling of this underground level, a small green stone illuminated the entire floor and provided yin and yang qi to nourish the black immortal grasses. Tombstones and wooden crosses riddled the beautiful grasses. None of them had a name on it, yet blossomed immortal grass flowers remained behind on every tombstone and cross. It has been a long time, my comrades, uttered Ivy. She remembered the days when she and her fallen comrades were together as if it were yesterday. Although they had fallen, it didn't mean that Ivy couldn't bring them back. Easen and liches always respected the dead as they got a more peaceful rest than living as an undead. Thus, they chose not to resurrect them unless they needed to. Because of the recent development and the invasion of immortals, Easen and Ivy realized that they lacked manpower. Thus, bringing the old comrades back was necessary. I'm sorry, I have to wake you up from your slumber. May your souls forgive me. Karma beseech thee. Arise. Rumble. The cemetery's ground shook. The immortal grasses instantly withered while the immoral grass flowers turned into dust as they were sacrificed for this spell. 100 skeleton arms emerged from the soil. The arms pushed the ground and lifted their main bodies out of the ground. Similar to Ivy, purple fireballs floated in their eye sockets. Their jaws and their perfect white teeth clattered as if they were angry that their peaceful rest was interrupted. All skeletons glared at Ivy, yet they didn't emit killing intent or express their anger. Instead, they waited for her explanation. Ivy let out a long sigh. She waved her cane and uttered, "This will be faster. I'll transfer my memory to you." 100 purple strings came out from Ivy's forehead and connected with the skeleton's foreheads. Her memory flowed into them, showing the recent events that she had been through. The skeletons witnessed the fight scenes between Ivy and quasi-immortal mutants. They also saw Easen's current appearance, who resembled the person who killed Easen and made her an undead. Everybody still remembered that Izen's mother killed her, as Izen had disgraced the High Elf Council by protecting the other races. They still hated the elves that turned her into one of them. Ivy then roused them. As you have witnessed, the new enemies must have a connection with a demonic realm. And as you all know, demonic realms belong to Fenrir overlords. And do you remember who their real masters are? Rumble. The skeletons exploded their killing intent. They still remembered the humiliation they suffered when the elves threw them into this world and trapped them with the undead curse. Hearing about the underlings of the elves and their existence enraged them. One of the skeletons opened its jaw. He produced a human language. Who shall we serve? Her Majesty Izen? Or the new Lord? Ivy gave them a meaningful look. She made her stance clear. The Holy One Lord Florida Man is Her Majesty Izen's savior. He will also free us from the elf's blasphemous curses, as he has already proved himself. Do you know that the Holy One has lifted the undead curse from Her Majesty Izen? What? He can do the same to us. He is the savior of our people. Follow me, my comrades. We will swear allegiance to the Holy One and support Her Majesty Izen. They will free us from this curse. With his lead, our revenge draws near. Rumble. The skeletons emitted even more killing intent, shaking the entire underground level. Everybody roared as if angry beasts had been unleashed. Their roar caused the ceiling stone to fall and land in front of Ivy. She picked it up. I almost forgot about this. What was it called again? One of the skeletons laughed and reminded Ivy. That's Earth Fate Crystal, Archlich Ivy. We commonly use that to suppress the elf's curses from spreading. Ah, I remember. Ivy nodded and put the Fate Crystal in her spatial ring. She also informed the others, we probably don't need this anymore. Let's report our resurrection to Her Majesty and the Holy One. Then we'll discuss what to do next. The 100 skeletons roared. 30 of them released their black chi, transforming into skull knights in black armor. 40 of them created lich robes and summoned their canes. As for the rest, they pulled out long black scythes from their chests and summoned black skull armor on their bodies. After donning themselves in armor, they generated a black hooded robe to cover their gear. The newly emerged Death Knights, Archliches, and Grim Reapers were ready for the new age and new master. Visit and read more novel to help us update chapter quickly. Thank you so much. Chapter 195. Florida Man scammed illegal migrants by accepting them into his house, offer them legal jobs, and rob them afterward. The immigrants were originally broke when they crossed borders. Chapter 195. Florida Man scammed illegal migrants by accepting them into his house, offer them legal jobs, and rob them afterward. The immigrants were originally broke when they crossed borders. Magpie City. The battle at Leo Domain was visible from this city. Tang Xian and Tang Tian observed the battle all night. Even after the battle was concluded, they remained vigilant. In the morning, one of the Tang clan's members went out to scout the battlefield. He kept a respectable distance and spied on the unicorns and nightmares' movements. The beasts reverted back to their beast appearances. They returned to their barn, recuperating after a rough battle. As for the aftermath, the cleanup team came out from Leo's store and handled the job. Realizing that the battle was over, the spy returned to Magpie City and reported his findings. When Tang Xian heard that Leo's subordinates vanquished the massive army of quasi-immortals and soul transformation mutants, he was overjoyed. He ordered his people to pack their things to visit Leo. In the afternoon, Tang Xian and Tang Tian, along with his first caravan, arrived at the border of Leo's domain. As they showed Leo their utmost respect, they traveled on food and approached the domain openly. When the group crossed the border, patrolling disciples of the Life Sword sect spotted them. They came to greet the visitors. Among the disciples, Yao Qiqi was one of them. Yao Qiqi didn't get to do anything in the previous battle due to her size and her age. Nobody allowed this lowly goddess to step onto the battlefield as she was too precious. In the aftermath, Sun Wan allowed her to tag along with the patrolling unit to give her something to do. She had been working as a moral support for the patrol unit since this morning. When Yao Qiqi spotted the guests, she ran toward them to greet them. Hello, Senior. Welcome to Florida Domain. We have the best alligator steaks, rare potatoes, and pinnacle-graded elemental pills for sale. Tang Xian brightly smiled as he found the girl cute. As for Tang Tian and their subordinates, they were taken aback by her assertiveness and sales pitch. Their clan was famous for their alchemists and poison alchemy techniques. Thus, trying to sell a pill to them was the same as selling cans of cola to a Pepsi factory. Behind the two Tangs, Jin Yong, who had become Tang Tian's disciple, was interested in Yao Qiqi. He was the second person who discovered her true cultivation base after Tang Xian. This place has grown a lot since my last visit. When I was working at the Life Sword sect as a part-timer, there weren't many buildings around here. This girl, too, is quite strong. Senior Florida man cultivated her well. What? As Jin Yong mentioned Yao Qiqi's strength, the others were surprised. They then stopped treating her as a child and scanned her dantian. Golden core cultivators and weaker servants failed to measure her strength. As for the others, they were flabbergasted. Tang Tian even dropped his jaw. This girl reminded him of his dead disciples. When Tang Tian was young, he had met so many promising individuals. However, most of them died young. This harsh world was unforgiving for talented youngsters as adults were prone to jealousy. Most of them died mysteriously, but Tang Tian was aware that the Ouyang, Situ, and Yen clan murdered them before they could grow stronger. In the end, cautious disciples of his, namely Hua Jiashan and Dongfang Mei, managed to survive while hiding behind the others. They weren't on the big clan's radars. Seeing Yao Qiqi, Tang Tian felt bad for her. He believed that Situ Nantian or Ouyang Zi would send their best assassins after her without fail. He had to do something to protect this girl from those nasty men. Little girl. Tang Tian crouched in front of her. Who is your master? Is he or she around? My master. Yao Qiqi brightly smiled and pointed at the shopping mall building. I have multiple masters. Mommy Sunwan is my mother and my first master. Grandma Dongfang Mei is my second master. Also, Grandpa Florida Man is my savior and my third master. My grandma said that I should respect him as my grandfather. Do you know that I like my grandpa the most? When I grow up, I'll marry my grandpa. Tang Tian had a wry smile on his face. He then glanced at his father as he had a bad feeling about this. Tang Xian and Jin Yong remained expressionless as they had met Leo before. He didn't believe that Leo was such a degenerate person who would be sexually attracted to a little girl. Instead, they believed that the girl was educated and nurtured well in a peaceful and loving environment. However, his followers had another idea. Patriarch, this Florida man is too vulgar. How dare he seduce such an innocent little girl? We must protect her and take her away from that pedophile. Yes, Patriarch. He is worse than the Murong clan and their joyous Yin-Yang sect. At least, those dual cultivators don't touch children. Yao Qiqi overheard it and pouted. You are rude, mister. Angel Florida Man is my lifesaver. He saved my mother's life. He saved my grandmother. He saved my friends. He's my savior. Nobody dared to retort as the girl seemed angry. They looked at each other, gesturing with their eyes so that their comrades would do something. Tang Xian coughed and changed the subject. Little girl, could you guide us to see your grandfather? We're from the Tang clan, and we would like to discuss our migration. We would like to seek shelter in his domain. Yao Qiqi was excited. Are you moving here, too? This is great. We can have more Slav-I-mean friends. Nobody noticed the brief change of expression on Yao Qiqi's face when her Dao avatar almost possessed her. Everybody smiled, thinking that she bit her tongue. The group of 100 people arrived in front of Leo's shopping mall. They were not all of Tang Clan's members, as they were the representatives of the group to evaluate the situation. Because all the elders were busy, nobody was there to welcome them. Yao Qiqi advised them, Grandfather Florida Man is busy at the moment. I'll go tell them that you're here. Also, if Sister Eason shows up, you should talk to her instead. She's grandfather's best friend. Nobody hated a cheerful little girl. Their hearts were cleansed, and they temporarily forgot about this cruel world. Yao Qiqi then excused herself and returned to patrol duty and play with the other young disciples of Life Sword sect. Tang Xian and the men all stood in front of the shopping mall with no one accompanying them. The group took this opportunity to look around. Their eyes were attracted to the parking lot and the flying island above them at first. It only took them a minute to notice another landmark. Beyond the parking lot structure, a crystal tower trekked through the sky. It was the second tallest structure in Leo's domain after the shopping mall elevator, which connected to the floating island. Tang Xian and Tang Tian widened their eyes in shock. They kicked the ground and flew toward the pylon tower as they sensed something nostalgic. When they arrived, they almost fell on their knees. Spirit Stone Heart? Aye, it's massive. Both had never seen anything like this. They had seen Spirit Stone Hearts, but they were not even half the size of this pylon tower. As cultivators, their legs automatically moved closer. They walked toward the foot of the tower. However, as they got closer, their legs got wobbly. The pylon tower pushed them away with its residual forces. None of them could reach even the outer layer. The outer layer featured 1,000 white cushions for cultivators to sit on. A few of them were occupied as a few off-duty workers sat there, cultivating the yin-yang energy from the tower. Looking at the young workers, Tang Xian and Tang Tian were envious. They reattempted to reach the outermost layer of the seats. But again, they were pushed back. While the two Tangs were helpless, one of the workers noticed them. He stood up and saluted them. "Senior, this place is restricted to the Florida Domain's employees. If you're not an employee, you cannot cultivate here." Tang Xian nodded in understanding while Tang Tian drooled. The latter couldn't wait to join Leo's side. "Thank you for the information, young friend. Then, please excuse us." Tang Xian saluted back. "No problem. I hope you will join us, too." Tang Xian was impressed by the humbleness of the workers there. He believed that Leo nurtured them well. As Tang Xian and Tang Tian couldn't do anything there, they turned around to head back. However, before they could go back, they ran into Leo. Leo had been walking around his domain as he was in the middle of repairing the roads. He also helped the workers pick up random corpses that they overlooked. While making his way back to his shopping mall, Leo found a large group of visitors waiting for him in front of the store. He also detected Tang Xian and Tang Tian near his pylon tower. Curious about what they were here for, Leo went to see the two Tangs first. He waved his hands to say hi. "I thought you died during the chaos at Cauliflower City. Hell broke loose, eh?" Tang Xian wryly smiled. He somewhat wanted to blame Leo for causing mayhem after the tournament. Still, everything was Yen Xiang's fault, so he kept quiet about the incident. "Yes, it has been a while." Tang Xian bowed. "But I'm here with a different purpose this time. I hope that you can lend me ears." "I'm listening. I would like to join your domain and worship you as our lord. I hope you can take us under your wings." Leo raised his eyebrows. He didn't expect someone to surrender this soon. "I think it's too early, wait." Leo almost declined the offer. Suddenly, he recalled that his domain required more men, especially soldiers. After all, invasions from other planets might become a common occurrence. For the sake of the future war, Leo changed his mind. "Are you here to serve me?" asked Leo. "Yes, senior. I have to warn you, though. You'll be working here from 9 to 5. You get 2 days off every week, and your pay will be essence stones made by me. You may use your hard-earned essence stones to purchase grain pills from me if you need them. As for cultivation resources, I'll randomly distribute them to you if you show promising results in your cultivation. Is that okay?" This employee welfare was new to them. In their world, servants were expected to work 25 hours a day until they died. No one was allowed to sleep or ask for a day off. Moreover, cultivation resources were mostly exclusive to the executives, not the employees or servants. Tang Tian found these terms too good to be true. He knelt on both knees. "Junior Tang Tian greets Lord Florida Man. I promise that I'll work my hardest." Tang Xian glanced at his son and wryly laughed. He didn't care for the cultivation resources, day-offs, or wages. He was more interested in the pylon tower. "Then, could you allow us to cultivate near that spirit stone heart?" Leo shrugged. "Everybody under me is free to do whatever you want during your day off. Of course, you can cultivate near that tower if you want. Then, our lives will be in your care, including our clansmen and the people from the Sixth Element sect." "Huh? I thought it was just you two." Tang Xian laughed. "When I said we, I meant my entire clan and sect. Also, we have about 2,000 people. We only bring 100 people here for today. Tomorrow, we'll inform the others and have them migrate here." "Oh, do you have a place for us to take shelter?" "You don't have to prepare a house or anything. We will build our dwellings anywhere as long as you give us permission." Leo facepalmed. He had a headache as he didn't want these people to suddenly erect a slum in his domain. As this matter involved 2,000 people, Leo came up with a new idea. "You know what? You can take shelter in that building first, but you're not allowed to build anything yet. Tomorrow, I'll do something about it." Leo pointed at the parking lot building. As there were many empty floors, these people could use them as temporary shelters for the time being. He could have purchased more RV vans for these new guys. However, it was not the time since they had never proved their usefulness to Leo yet. "No problem, senior." Tang Xian widely smiled. He had no issue living in the strange building with no door or windows. After all, he didn't need to sleep or eat to live. He just wanted a roof to cover his head whenever he wanted to rest. Since the guys seemed to be too happy about it, Leo came up with an idea to extort them. By the way, I forgot to tell you, if you want an RV house like the others, you will have to work here for at least 10 years. You can hasten that process by being stronger than one of those horses outside and pay me 10,000 years of lifespan for the RV. Visit and read more novel to help us update chapter quickly. Thank you so much.